My name is Troy Nelson. This is another installment of Live on KEXP from home. And by home, we are talking about Denmark. And so I want to welcome the band Young. Thank you all so much for doing this. How's everybody doing?
Thanks for having us.
Great, thank you.
Yes, and you have pre-recorded a performance for all of us, and I checked it out. It's fantastic, and would love to share it with the rest of the world. So right here you go, live on KEXP from home. This is the band Young.
Plastic bags are symbols. The pain she felt when years ago. Your face is blurred and you're moving on. You see her pain as nourishment. was a sight for sore eyes. I don't even know why you didn't care at all. They said sadly things, they come and go, they come and go. The compelling voice was certainly what they fell for. forgot his keys that morning and all the doors in this city are locked. He left them on the weird looking kitchen floor. Self-inflicted wounds, so you're such a man, you're such a man. Self-inflicted wounds, so you're such a man, you're such a man. Self-inflicted wounds, so you're such a man, you're such a man. And she's gonna take such good care of you. She gave you her word about grass and roll, and manifest of champagne and secrets. Brings to mind the Second Amendment. Oh yeah, once I knew I kept seeing his screaming hand. I couldn't change the disapproving eyes I laid upon him. And shame was all over his face. He forgot his keys that morning, and all the doors in this city are locked. 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 Self-inflicted wounds, so you're such a man, you're such a man. In Kenny's room, there are pictures of the heroes on the walls. But to get to Kenny's room, you got to walk the darkness of Kenny's hall. And strangers from the city call my baby's number and they bring her toys. When I come knocking, she smiles pretty. She knows I want to be Kenny's boy. There's a sadness hidden in that pretty face, a sadness all of her own, from which no man can keep Candy safe. Then we kiss, the blood rushes through my veins, the blood rushes to my brain, the fire rushes towards the sky. And I go driving, I drive deep into the night, I drive deep into the light in Candy's eyes. She says, baby, if you want to be wild, you've got a lot to learn. Close your eyes, let them fire, let them burn, let them melt. 'Cause in the darkness, the hidden worlds that shine. When I hold Candy close, she makes those hidden worlds blind.
Fantastic performance from the band Young. Thank you all so much for putting this together. I love that intro. It's all the countryside and what is it? Dreamland Studio? Is that where you did this performance? Where you captured this?
That's right.
Tell us about Dreamland Studio. What is that?
It's a studio in the north of Jutland, the mainland peninsula of Denmark. We have a bit of history there. We went there as the first sort of part of the recording of our latest album. And it belongs to the uncle of the engineer, Neil, who recorded the album with us. So there's...
whose name is oddly Neil Young, is it not?
It is. Yeah. It is. He has a son called Malcolm as well, Malcolm Young.
That's amazing.
It's a cool family, yeah.
But he goes by Neil R. Young, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes. Neil Robert Young.
That's very cool. It looks like a really cool studio, and just it sounds fantastic. Like it sounds like an album almost. It's just the audio quality was fantastic. So thank you all once again. So much energy in this music, and I remember when Young first started out. And you were very young, and no pun intended, but you are still very young. But you've been at this for a few years now. How did this whole thing come about? How did this start, the inception of the band?
Well, initially it started out as a solo project of mine. I was, I think when I was 16, 17 years old, I started just recording a lot of music, and I was in a couple of bands at the time, and whenever I wrote songs that I didn't find fitting for those bands, I called the demos Young. And after a while, I just had a ton of demos, and I decided that I wanted to play the songs live. And in order for me to do that, I needed a band. So I asked Frederick and Toby if they wanted to join the band. And then I think about a year after they joined the band, Emil joined the band. And we started playing together, I mean, as a band in 2013. Yeah. So we've been going at it since 2013, yeah.
And Mastermind Records put out your first 7-inch. Was this before it was a band or after everyone got together?
That was the first release. That was like the first band release. Emil is not on that 7-inch. That's just Toby, Frederick, and I. But that was the first thing we recorded as a band. And that all happened really quickly. I think when we recorded that 7-inch, we'd been playing together for a month or two, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And this whole musical journey really started incredibly early for you, Mikkel, because wasn't it was it an uncle or somebody owned a record store in Copenhagen called Repo Man Records, and you would get records from there?
Yeah,
when you were a kid.
Yeah, when at my 10-year birthday, my uncle who owned the record store, my uncle and my aunt, they gave me a record player. So I started collecting records when I was 10 years old, and that's when it all started to happen in terms of like figuring out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to listen to in terms of like music. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about that place the other day because I bought some shoes from your uncle.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that was sitting. We were staying. I think we just slept on the floor at that shop for some reason. Ages
That's
ago.
the rockabilly ones?
Yeah. Like the brothel creepers, and then they just kind of disintegrated the first time I wore them. And I kind of want my money back, but I don't know who to.
Well, yeah.
I don't have his info.
I was. You introduced me to something that I never knew about. I never knew about the city of Aarhus, and I know that you're living in Copenhagen, but you have spent a lot of time in Aarhus, and so it looks beautiful there. And all the videos I watched, a bunch of YouTube videos, like. Sort of those cheesy travel videos like welcome to the city of Aarhus, but it looks beautiful and also looks like there is a very popular food and drink culture in Aarhus. Is this correct?
There's definitely a drinking culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we've got
food is definitely not very exciting. No.
Is there a specific kind of food that you were introduced to on YouTube?
It was like something called food. I can't remember the name of it now, but it just looked like they always passed like some kind of market, or maybe it was the city center, and there was it's street food, like street food.
Oh, right.
Something. And it just every video has people eating and drinking, and I was like, this kind of looks like a party town. What's going on in Aarhus?
Yeah, I mean,
that's just always copying Copenhagen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, then there's that really weird boat race that goes on every year.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's great. Yeah,
that's kind of legendary, actually.
What is that?
Actually, Frederick and Toby, they used to play in this incredible band snare drum, and that's actually, when I was deciding on who to ask to join the band, young initially, I was a big fan of the band Snare Drum at the time. It's an incredible Aarhus band, and Frederick and Toby, they played in that band. Frederick played the drums and Toby played the guitar. I think occasionally Toby, he did a little bit of singing as well. But they actually played a gig at that boat race, and I remember going to that gig. It was just so... I mean,
what?
Yeah, I mean that was a really strange gig. That's you played at that thing. What's the name of the boat thing?
It's the uni thing.
No, yeah, I was
wait.
thinking about the uni thing. This was
All
like
right.
the big boat thing by the harbor.
Yeah, but I forget the name of that.
There are two things. One is freshwater sort of homemade boat racing. The other thing is like huge actual ships by the harbor.
Yeah, the homemade boat racing one looks kind of fun,
All
actually.
Right. That's a uni thing, yeah.
It's a uni thing, yeah. It's kind of an advanced drinking game, actually.
Such is life.
No joke.
As Mikkel takes a sip of that fine red wine. We have a big time difference. So if I was drinking red wine right now, it would mean I have a problem because it is only it's only 2:26 p.m. here in Seattle. So
right.
I have a rule, not before 6 p.m. at least.
Right.
So okay, speaking of the history, you were talking about Snare Drum, the band Snare Drum, and the history of Denmark and some bands that I'm going to mention some bands, and I would love for whoever wants to answer it. Let me know what that band means to you, and also tell the listeners about these bands who might not be familiar. But what can you tell the listeners about Lost Kids?
Maybe Frederick should answer this.
Yeah, I'm not really an expert on them, but they were one of the first Danish punk bands. And they were from Aarhus. And I think they had kind of a beef with the Copenhagen punks, because the Copenhagen punks thought they were kind of silly and had the more, yeah. I think the Copenhagen punks thought Lost Kids were fashion punks and rednecks.
Yeah. I also think I think the thing that really annoyed the Copenhagen scene about Lost Kids at the time, I think, was the Lost Kids. They took like American they took songs like British punk rock songs or like American punk rock songs, and then they turned them into like kind of Danish punk rock songs with Danish lyrics, and they kind of rewrote the riffs a little bit, so they weren't being vocal about them like copying other bands' songs, but that was like obviously what they did. But that being said, they have a lot of incredible songs, and yeah,
they did Devo Mongoloid.
Yeah, that's right.
Stole
Yeah.
that riff.
Yeah.
Mikkel did that too.
What can you tell the listeners about Cola Freaks?
Yes.
Whew.
Best band on earth.
Yeah,
Mikkel should do this one.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in 7th grade in Denmark, you if you're a Christian, you confirm your belief in God in church. And I was not a Christian, and I'm still not a Christian. But my parents, so like custom is that your parents throw you a party, and then you celebrate adulthood, even though you're only like 13 years old. You celebrate adulthood with your parents and with your family, and you get a bunch of gifts. But as I said, I didn't go to church, but my parents still threw me a party. And then at some point during that party, my dad got up and he made a speech. And then after the speech, he was like, "Right, son, now everybody, we're going to go outside. And then I've got a surprise for you." And then we went outside, and then Cola Freaks was there. And they played a show in front of my entire family and in front of 13-year-old Mikkel. So Cola Freaks is a band from Aarhus, and they were like I feel like they were like the local punk rock heroes, in at least like that's how I look at them. They toured the States a bunch of times, in Europe and I think the UK as well, and they released a bunch of 7-inch records, and they released one full-length album, which is like all of their material I think is incredible. They toured a bunch with Jay Reatard as well, and I think Jay Reatard actually recorded a bunch of their 7-inch records, or maybe just a couple of the 7-inch records. Anyway, like, yeah, Cola Freaks is a band I really love, and actually, so Mastermind Records, who put out our first 7-inch record and our first album, Mads Stubble, the lead singer in Cola Freaks, he ran that label.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all connected,
so
you know.
Big impact on you.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yes.
very big impact. Yeah, absolutely.
And their bass player was the singer in snare drum.
Okay. A lot of connections here. What is the
Oh,
connection
yeah.
to?
Forgot about that.
What is the connection to Les Wynn?
We share our rehearsal space with them, actually. They're a great band from Copenhagen. They've been around for around as long as we have, I believe, and put out a new record pretty recently that is really, really great. So they had a huge impact on us as well.
And what can you tell me about Several Things?
Oh, yes.
Oh, man. Emil, you should go.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about that.
I wanna say Several Things is the solo project of Marco, who's a guy from Aarhus, and he makes some of the most incredible music I've ever listened to. Everyone should log on to YouTube and look up "Have You Met Me" by Several Things. That song is just, I mean, that was like the soundtrack for my like late teenage years. And actually, so he did a bunch of recordings like I think 6, 7, 8 years ago, and then he never really like released them. I think he released them on SoundCloud, but actually now they're coming out on vinyl on a local Aarhus label called Kilonova Records. I think the record will be released in March, I think, yeah. So it's coming out pretty soon.
That's great.
Yeah.
And are you friendly with the band Ice Age?
We're not friends with them, so to speak. We don't have like a very personal connection with them, but we have played at some of the same shows and are friendly with them, I would say.
Yeah, I would say anyone that has talked about Young's music, they always bring up Ice Age. And I mean, I guess there's a similarity. I hear the major differences too, but there's just a band that gets brought up when your band gets brought up, I've noticed in the past few years. What about this band? What is Tilebreaker?
Actually, Tilebreaker was also like a merge of a person from Cola Freaks and actually Marco from Several Things at one point. And it's another incredible Aarhus band, like a very slow, heavy, very emotional rock band, like slow chorish, whatever you want to call it. And very incredible. Yeah.
And so during this global pandemic, obviously a lot of us have been spending a lot of time at home, indoors. Have you been creative still? Are you still working on new music? Is there anything that we can expect from Young in later this year or early 2022?
We're actually we're not allowed to be in our rehearsal space right now. But we have songs that we already recorded demos of. But yeah, we haven't been able to write music together like that for since November, I guess.
Right. And what is it looking like right now in Copenhagen? Is it still like places kind of do outdoor seating and people are still social distancing? Is it kind of like that?
I mean, we're actually
everything's closed down.
Yeah, we're in a lockdown. Yeah.
But all the commercial stores actually opened up this Monday.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's like a weird priority going on. Like a lot of really small commercial stores are just like opening up for everyone, but the four of us can't be in our rehearsal space. It kind of feels a bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
I saw about 500 people queuing up for a 50% sale at a sports store the other day. and I just felt like that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
That's insane. Yeah.
and we're not allowed to. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah,
You know, I hear you. It's strange because you learn this information and then you have a good idea of what you should do to stay safe and keep others safe. But then there'll be like a group of people that just don't.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is so confusing. Why can't everyone get on the same page so that we can tackle this? I hear you.
Yeah, it's absolutely frustrating, you know, like, I mean, yeah, to see how, I mean, yeah, the fact that capitalism is just like priority number one, you know, and like as someone who kind of works with music and art, that's obviously like incredibly frustrating, but you know.
but I also feel like people are just not taking it seriously enough. Like I've been in the same bubble for the past year almost. I mean, there was a bit of like during the summer it was a bit more free, but during the past 6 months it's been tough, man. I mean, I haven't seen many people, and I think there was a 3-month period where we didn't see each other at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear about people that I know just getting together with 20, 30 people, and I don't know. People have different views on it, but I don't. I just find that really dumb because it's just gonna prolong the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously such a roller coaster, and I guess that's why we are so happy that at least at KEXP that we can still at least provide some content for people that are staying home, and that there's a new video that they can watch and introduce people who don't know a band like Young, and then hearing our conversation about all those bands we talked about, and then they go searching that out. I think that it's important to at least provide content, and that's what you are all a part of, is providing us this content information. And I've learned a lot about the music of Denmark just from researching your band. So I want, and your performance video once again was just fabulous. So thank you for putting that together and spending time with us here on KEXP and for listeners all over the world.
I want to tell you that actually I've been enjoying your videos a lot, like the home sessions. They've been like a nice little piece of sunlight in a pretty dull everyday life.
Yeah.
I'm literally interviewing you from my basement right now. I've been down here for like a year. And thankfully though, you know, I do have a microphone. I do have a computer. I try to make music when I can, and just, you know, by myself. So it's drum machine, and I just start making something and see what comes out. And it's about all one can do much, you know, so is during this whole time. So, you know, we're going to see where this is going. I oddly, as dark as it's been, I still have a positive feeling about the future. It might not be next month or in 3 months, but one day something's going to, you know, all come together. But it's slower than we thought it was going to be in the beginning. And I really feel for musicians who just want to play shows and tour. And I guess you can take some sort of feeling of comfort knowing, well, you're not the only ones. It's pretty much, it's everybody. But it still sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are doing much worse than we are, but we still miss it so much.
Yeah, I've just been doing what Mikkel's doing right now. I've just been enjoying that red wine during the pandemic.
That's really helpful. Yeah, that's really helpful.
I'm really, I'm just, oh, nice. What do you got going there, Emil? What are you drinking?
My brother's Black Label.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I don't know anything about whiskey really, but it's pretty smooth, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're drinking whiskey. We did a tour in a bunch of years ago, and on that tour we toured with the band Art, and
oh yeah, they're great.
They had a bottle of Tullamore Dew on the rider.
Mm-hmm.
so every night after the show, they left the venue, and then I kind of stole the bottle of Tullamore. And then after like, a couple of weeks on the road, I had like 10 or 14 like bottles of Tullamore, like half filled. And then at one point we like had to cancel a show, and then we went to this monastery to, spend the night there. And Emil, he like it seemed like he drank all of the Tullamore, and he's not been able to drink whiskey since. So I'm really surprised to see you with a bottle of whiskey, Emil.
No, I was off whiskey for about 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, I have a bone to pick with Budweiser. I don't know what happened to the label, but it's terrible now. It used to be much better. Also,
Just the looks.
the looks. Also, they need to bring back the glass. No, this is silly. Nothing. Never mind.
The glass bottle, the glass.
No. It's just the last time we went to the States, the first thing I did was I was searching for Old English 800, and they only had it in a plastic bottle.
Oh, and
my
like
God,
the
I
big
remember.
40s, glass 40s. I used to Mickey's Ice. We used to have a glass 40.
Right. They still have some in the glass bottles, like Colt 45 and stuff. But I joined a Facebook group back then called like Bring Back the Glass
No way.
Old English.
I mean, that's when I was real young. That's what I would scrape for change under my couch to go buy one of those. Wow.
It's just so
Forgot
nice.
about those.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's basically
probably
what
just-
Emil did.
It's a
as
lot of
well,
glass. I'm assuming that's why they don't do it anymore. It's like,
It just doesn't get
Yeah.
very cold
Yeah.
when it's the plastic bottle.
that's true. That's actually true. I remember when Gatorade used to come in a glass bottle when I was
Oh,
young.
Oh, it did?
Was
It
that
did,
a thing?
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Yeah, wow. I forgot about that.
Look at that.
Thank you, Emil, for the memories.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, once again, in whatever safe capacity you can, please keep doing what you're doing. You have a fantastic sound, so much energy, so much passion, and we would love to hear, more new music from Young in the future. So we just hope that you keep making music however you can, and come back and join us sometime soon, and we can all sit down and catch up again.
We would love to.
We'd love to, yeah.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank all of
Nice
you.
talking to you, Troy.
So much. That's so nice meeting all of you, and once again watching that performance, just so good. Thanks everybody. That is Young live on KEXP from home.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.